Hello, welcome to a YouTube video. This is rare, I don't record these. This is going to be a look through my performance at a recent RTT I was at for Orcs in 11th edition. This is post the data slate, post all the nerfs to Green Tide and all that. Just a bit of background, and we'll look at, this is what we're looking at. So I'm just going to give you some background on who I am, my experiences, my credibility. We're going to look at the list I ran, the matches I had, the potential changes I'd make in the future, and that'll be all. So first off, to start, I feel like a lot of especially because my metrics have just grown insanely over the past month or so because of the Lancer Orc memes. They've been doing really well, and I met people at the event. They're like, "Oh yeah, I saw this on Instagram. I know, I've seen your account. I've ran into people in Discord, so like, yo, I recognize you from Instagram." So that's kind of cool. So you might recognize me for that. Follow the Instagram. I'm also a host on Warpstorm Radio. It's a comedy comedy Warhammer podcast. We try to record every week. We do tournament recaps often, but I don't think we're going to do an episode for that this week. I just wanted to talk about it more in depth for my experiences with this event. Alright, going into my list, what I ran. So this is a very standard warhorde list. There's a few changes off the meta and what I usually ran. Usually I've messed around with running Gaz on 20 boys in 11th. I've ran him on Breaka boys. And that matchup's fine. The main issue is when you run Gaz with 20 boys in 11th edition, your opponent just immediately looks like, oh, that's a problem, and dedicates their entire army into killing that one brick. And then Breaka boys, it's good damage output, and it's a good jack of all trades. You can get rid of elite infantry as well as vehicles very easily. It's just I feel like that unit isn't particularly durable. Even with the Pain Boy, they just kind of die very easily. So I talked to Wa Tactics, who's someone I look up to a lot. The guy's the GOAT. Subscribe to him on YouTube. And he was telling me, oh, I think Gaz on Knobs is the play. And the night before the event, I was like, you know what? I know I've practiced on Breaka boys, but we're just gonna run Knobs, Power Claws. So this is the list. We got Snikra as an action monkey. Gaz with Pain Boy, with the Follow Me Lads, is on 10 Knobs. You got Mazrog Shragbad in reserves. Banner Knob with the Cunningbet Brutal. Let's fall back, shoot and charge on 10 flash kits. Mr. Beast is on 10 Snaggas and the Kill Rig. And then it says for the screenshots, the Armageddon War Boss. They legalized the Armageddon War Boss loadout in the data slate, so that was all Gucci. But he's on Breaka boys, and he's in a truck. Then I got 2 units of Grots, some Storm Boys, and Death Copters and Deep Strike. And then here's my performance. 88 points the first game, 100 the following 2. It's a little bit of a... But this is kind of another thing about this. This store is notoriously kind of sweaty. There's some high profile people that are really high up on ITC leaderboards that attend regularly. A few of them didn't this time around. Jordan Knock didn't show up, which improved my chances of survival severely. But there are still a lot of good players at this event. Also, my opponents, all fantastic people. Had a great experience with every single opponent I had throughout this event. Also, I just have my handle covering my neck because I don't want my government name on this. Yeah. And then another thing, I just want to draw attention to it, because in these screenshots, my kill rig is very obviously not an official GW kill rig. This is a kit bash that I did off a battle wagon and some 3D printed components. It's supposedly the thing from Mad Max But like, I feel like I'm gonna get like people asking, "Oh, where's the kill rig?" And there it is. The TO was fine with it. The Go, he was fine, yeah. Which I'm very glad. Like, I think if I was a TO, I wouldn't allow this thing, but like it works out. I'm not necessarily modeling for advantage here. I mean, it's a little bit chunkier in some areas, so I guess modeling for disadvantage. But like every single time it needed to shoot or activate or something, it wasn't necessarily like toe tipping. It was, if I had a line on someone with this thing, I had a line with majority of it. We are all good. Anywho, onto the games. Game one was into World Eaters, Brazen Engines, Corn Demonkin. Now, importantly, okay, so this is, I remember this guy's list. It was 2 Defilers, 2 Mauler Fiends, 30 Bloodletters, Crushers with, like a big brick of Crushers in Deep Strike with, whatever the character is. I think it's like a Lord on Jug. Then he had, DP, I forgot if it was winged or on foot. I think it was just on foot. And then he had, like, some dogs. He had some, like, goremongers or something like that. I think. Yeah. But the name of the game for this guy's list is just, like, push something up my face and then kill something with a Defiler. Summon by Slaughter. Make Bloodletters a problem. And, like, here's my deployment. If you see, so the kill rig is behind that, like, long, thin piece, as well as the Warboss Breakaway truck, which I usually like, for these 11th edition terrain layouts, I feel like the truck is the perfect transport for, or, like, it doesn't have to specifically be a truck, but, like, trucks, rhinos, any kind of, like, light, dedicated transport fits really well in these little, like, mid-board L-shaped ruins. They're good for blocking line of sight, most of the time. And I just like them a lot. So those two are on that side. I have Storm Boys on the upper left corner on my home objective, along with some grots screening out. The B-Wagon is on the bottom, small little rectangle. It's right behind that, and I have the flash kit truck and grots right behind the expansion objective, and then Snake Rat was like right behind the center rune. So for the most part, I was like losing this game up until like round 4. Like I was legitimately, and the main reason why on my go turn I get the charge in with Mazrog goes into a Defiler. Breaker Boys get into Defiler and Mauler Fiend. Snake Rat goes into some dogs in the middle. And then Gaz needs a 4-inch charge. He was shocked. Because he came out of the B-Wagon. The B-Wagon dies to a Mauler Fiend, so he comes out of the B-Wagon, and it's going to be a multi-charge into Mauler Fiend Defiler. He fails the 4-inch charge. And I'm like, well, that's probably game. Luckily, the Mazrog just slaps the Defiler, brings it down to like. No, I think I don't remember how many wounds I did, but I remember the smash hammer just like went off on that Defiler, and then the Warboss killed the Mauler Fiend because he was like 4 wounds left because the kill rig did some work. Snake Rat killed most of the dogs in the middle, and then I'm like, well, it's Jover. Gaz is going to just get picked apart the next turn. And then he throws the Defiler and get Mauler Fiend into Gaz, and miraculously, Gaz survives. And this is what I realized the inherent advantage of 10 knobs on Gaz as opposed to Breaker Boys. They inherently get -1 to wound when strength is higher than toughness, so you don't like necessarily have to like worry about where you're putting your -1 to wound strat, and then you can also, it's like, if you need to fight on death, that's a really potent fight on death. You also get your crit 5s that makes them worthwhile, just like by default during the WoW, and your +1 to wound on strength 10, which is great. So like it can punch up into most things. So Gaz and like the remaining like 1 knob and the Pain Boy killed the Defiler and Mauler Fiend. So at this point she has like Crushers, some Bloodletters, and like some dogs left, and I just dissected the rest of the. I was like legitimately up until the point where Gaz kills the Defiler in Malarfine. I was genuinely convinced I had lost that game. Just based off board state. Like, I was up on points, but I didn't really realize that. So the game ends 88-60 something. I think it was 62 in my favor. And I go to lunch. I come back. I was talking to someone during. I forgot who it was, but I was talking to someone. I'm like, the potential matches I can get for round 2. And I'm like, Grey Knights would be the worst one. Game 2. Grey Knights. So this was like kind of my nightmare pairing situation because the day before I TTS, did a TTS game with someone in Tactical Tortoise server who was just, who ran a very similar Grey Knights. It was a different detachment. It was, I don't know which one it is, but it was a detachment where you could reactive 6, like flat 6 or into Deep Strike. And that strat just cost me that game and that TTS, like, scrimmage match. Alright. So yeah, that strat was the death of me in that TTS game. Mainly because as orcs, this is why Grey Knights and Custodies are like your 2 worst matchups on orcs, in my opinion. Mainly because I think elite infantry and 2-up saves are just like the bane of my existence, because a lot of my stuff is AP1, maybe AP2. So a lot of your attacks just tend to bounce off that kind of stuff, especially Grey Knights, because you uppy downy. Orcs are only fast for 1 turn. So this is the thing though, that game I played on TTS, that prepared me in the best way possible for this Grey Knight match, because I had him screened. So here's deployment. I forgot to take a picture of my deployment just after my round 1 moves, so you're gonna have to bear with me. Okay, so Killrig is in the gap between the home objective and the long piece. I had Storm Boys again, like on my home objective. I wanted them there in case I needed to like do an action or something round 1 or kill something in the middle, but they ended up being on screening duty for majority of the game. Grotz and the Flash Kit Truck are behind the expansion objective. It's the same. The Warmoss Truck is on the right side. The Kill Rig is in the middle. The B-Wagon is... Actually, the B-Wagon, I had him in a precarious spot, but I managed to get it to work out. Oh, wait, no. The B-Wagon was between the long spot and the home objective. The Kill Rig was behind the long piece. So, turn 1, I just screen out. And I get a stage turn ready. And then this is when he realizes, my opponent realizes, oh, he's going to have a really big Wa turn if I have something. Because he's run, I forgot his list. I don't know Grey Knights like at all. But he has a Redeemer with Terminators inside. And he was debating, oh, I can like go out and push the Kill Rig with Terminators if I move the Kill Rig, or the Land Raider up. And I'm thinking, please do that. I have 5 different units around that aren't even Gaz that I can use to deal with that. So he ends up just being very neutral and not pushing anything. He puts a unit out just to screen me so I can't charge Gaz into the Redeemer. And I'm like, okay. Oh, and then, then my turn 2, Warboss and Breakup Boys. He has like 4 Terminators on that right side, his natural expansion. And I don't remember what card it was. I think it was like Overforce. It was Overforce and Secure, I think. And I'm like, okay, well, this is the obvious conclusion, is just I'm going to try to kill those guys. They come in, they get the charge, and then he had Rapided and Heroic with another separate unit of Terminators. And ironically, so the like 2 I had dedicated into the original unit just bounce off, but the 4 that went into the other Terminators just balled out. I picked up like 5 or 6 maybe, which was a huge L for him. That was not a good trade. Oh, and Mazrog just dumpsters a Rhino in this turn. He brought him down to 2, and then the guy failed the desperate escape. Fell back. It dies. So Mazrog is like really. Mazrog is legitimately on the L-shaped ruin on his side of the board, and it's like now he has to deal with Maz, and this is why I like Maz on this list because Maz does a very similar thing to Waz, and I'll get back into that a little bit more detail. But this is the reason why I like. So first of all, I figured this out recently. Warhorde, sometime between February and 11th edition, changed Art as Nails, so it's no longer infantry locked. It just specifies excluding Grot's monsters' vehicles. Mazrog Scragbad is not a monster. He only has mounted. You can -1 to wound Maz. He is T8, 3 up, 4 up, 5 up. If you -1 to wound your Maz, he just doesn't die. Like, no matter what you put it, he just doesn't die. So, he is now a massive threat to this guy's home. So, he ends up deep striking in, like, a big brick of Terminators. Like, it was like 6... I don't know Grey Knights. It felt like 8 or so models come down to deal with Maz. And the flash kits are in that truck right behind. So I'm like, please dedicate 500 points to killing Maz. Please. So he does. He comes in, he charges. I fight on death with Maz, take out a couple on the way down. And he's like, okay, well, that sucks. And then it comes my turn. Flash kits come out. I take out a couple. Death Cops bounce off of them. But I had that unlock. Gaz comes out and kills the remaining Terminators on that right side. And then Mr. Beast, the GOAT, Mr. Beast, kills the Redeemer to the wound in melee. That's why we love Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast can come in. He does 8 mortal wounds on average to any monster vehicle. And sometimes he gets the 10th. He got the 10th. The 6th came off of shooting from the kill rig. So Mr. Beast kills the kill rig. Or Mr. Beast kills the Land Raider. So now this guy is down his 2 big Terminator bricks. One's held up with flash kits, which I'm more than content with because I have like 20 OC on that objective through Grots and the flash kits and the painter knob. He has no real assets left, and this is like I don't know how to like I won this game through screening him out, forcing him to make bad decisions. That's the best. I feel like it's the way you win as an orc player is you force your opponent into making bad decisions because the possibility of your stuff punching up is threatening to their livelihood and their points. If I can force you to put your 500 point Death Star brick into my 125 point character, that would be really funny. And I did. In the end, this was like 100 to 60 something. The entire time, too, I'm just keeping him off primary because he's too afraid to step on objectives. And my primary mission, because this is taken hold into Prias, I get points for holding 2, which is very easy because I have a kill rig and a battle wagon on one, and I have Grots on my home, so that's 2 guaranteed. I get points at the end of my turn for holding 3, which again is also easy because I have Grots on this other expansion. And then I'll get other points for holding more than him, which for the most part of the game I was. Because he holds his home, sometimes the middle, and sometimes at left. So I was scoring him on primary. It's a really good matchup for taking hold. And game 3 is CSM. Okay, going into game 3, I had 5 potential matches. And 4 of them were awful. Actually, 3 of them were like awful, like auto lose. Like I'm just not coming back from it. I'd say 2 actually. 2. Okay, so 2 were just auto lose. 2 were extremely difficult but doable, and then 1 was like I can do this. And that match was CSM. Not to disparage my opponent and not to say that CSM are bad. It's just the best matchup and the best outcome I could get. So the 2 that were like auto lose were Custodes and Tau, and luckily they pair into each other. So I'm like Two birds, one stone. Don't have to deal with that. The two kind of difficult matches pairing to each other also, which is Ultramarines and CSM Zinch Demons, which I know they got nerfed, but like both of those opponents are very high skilled, and it's not a very favorable matchup. I think I could have maybe beaten Demons, but CSM is the best possible outcome because this dude's list, I remember it to the model. It is Abaddon on 20. This is Vets of the Long War, by the way. Abaddon 20 chosen, Huron on Abaddon 10 chosen, Huron on 10 chosen, Forge Fiend, Vastor, Defiler. I forgot to put the images on the slide, but he also had Nurglings, Sork in Term, in Deep Strike, some Cultists. I think that's it. If he had anything else, I don't know, I might update it, but that's all I could remember. This was yesterday. So for deployment, it's take and hold mirror, search and destroy. I go first, which I actually like doing in this match, because I need to establish early on my pressure onto the midboard. The kill rig comes out and establishes itself as an Overwatch threat. He has 20 chosen, all in his DZ, all in one big group. And he asks me outright, do you think you can pick up 10 chosen and one of my characters with Gaz and his knob brick? And I'm like, and the Watchern, like, almost guaranteed. It is extremely lethal. I think it's the most lethal unit in the game right now. And he goes, okay. He puts Huron and 10 chosen on the middle. His turn 2, or his turn 1. And they kill Storm Boys. They kill. He also kills the kill rig with the Defiler, because I made a dumb choice. I overwatched the Forge Fiend that he puts up on that long ruin piece. And I'm like, I'm taking like 6 wounds off this thing probably, and then the Breaker Boys can deal with that. And no, he just absolutely dumpsters the Forge Fiend in Overwatch, which basically guarantees that Mr. Beast survives. Because on the Forge Fiend, or the Defiler kills Killrig. We knew this was going to happen. It explodes. I careen it towards the middle so it doesn't, mainly so I can take out a few chosen. But then also because I wanted it to be in a better position when I disembark. The chosen use that as an opportunity to reactive closer onto the objective. And Mr. Beast, it's like the mortal wounds I take with Mr. Beast coming out on the way out, catastrophic. It's legitimately just Mr. Beast in the knob. He fails the charge with the chosen onto Mr. Beast. So he has 10 chosen, like just sitting in the middle, jerking off. And then he has another 10 chosen with the Abaddon by his home. And it's within the distance that he could reasonably heroic. And the important going, he has 0 command points at this point. He spends his last to reroll that charge, I think. It was either to reroll the charge or to reactive. So it's at this point where he has his one of 2 of his big Death Stars on the objective, in the middle. And I'm like, okay, it's time. Gaz comes out. Gaz absolutely, Gaz and the knobs, they dumpster the... Oh yeah, importantly, I bring in Devcopters from Deep Strike. He uses his only command point to Overwatch, because I guess damage 3 shooting blast really scared the guy for the other brick of chosen. So he overwatches and kills the Devcopters with the Defiler. And then almost immediately after, he's like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. And I'm like, yeah, he's like, it's too late now. And I'm like, okay. Because what ends up happening is Gaz dices Huron and Chosen. And then I have enough command points for fight on death the next turn. So Abaddon's just watching this happen. His turn 2, he just charges Abaddon and Vastor into Gaz. I fight on death. And Gaz just kills the Abaddon brick, like, to the wound, entirely. And that's where he called it. He's like, okay, I have nothing. I'm like, okay. Oh, in my wild turn, Breakup Boys. The Breakup Boys just whiff into the Defiler, but the War Boss just pops off, like, absolutely insane. And I won that game. It was, like, within 30 minutes, all said and done. Potential changes to this list. There's a big elephant in the room. Why aren't you running Waz? Why are you running Mosrux? Why aren't you running Waz? He's so good. I'm going to be honest with you. I really wanted to, one, test out Maz because I haven't in a while. He's not awful. I wanted to try the -1 to wound interaction with Maz. But then here's the other thing. Every single time I've ran Wazdaka, he kind of bounces off everything. His shooting's like good from an orc perspective, but it's not great. It's not like he's dumpstering things. When you put him into a vehicle, it's not like he's just absolutely mincing it. And then usually he dies in the clapback. He doesn't have the stratagem support to really be useful, I think, in Warhorde. He's good late game. Like, don't make he's not bad. I'm gonna have to experiment more with Mazrog to like really be able to make a choice, like firm decision. But the elephant in the room is like, why did I run Maz? I wanted to run the banner knob. I thought it'd be funny. That's really it. If you wanted to make like a better version of this list, like instantly, I think there's a very good argument for cut the banner knob. Mr. Beast gets fallback shooting charge or the feel no pain. Either or. I'd probably take fallback shooting charge because he gets devs on charge just baked in. So it's just why wouldn't you take Mr. Beast with fallback shooting charge? There is an argument for the feel no it's whatever. But yeah, you can cut the banner knob and just take Waz instead of Mazrog. Yeah, that's a very real thing you can do. However, I've maybe had 70 games of 11th on Orcs. And like 65 of them have had Wazdaka in it. And for the most part, he just bounces off everything. The enjoyment I get from rapid ingressing him 12.1 away from people is eclipsed from the enjoyment I get from seeing Mazrog just absolutely eat las cannons to the face and just be completely fine. I think, and like you're going back to like the list analysis, here's what the list really like excels at. It's taking pressure off Gaz as a target early game. Because as soon as I can like give you other assets to worry about instead of Gaz, I can give him the opportunity to be able to take something big out. So importantly, so if you look at it, here's what every single thing does. The B-Wagon is there for protection. Also, I'm taking Ard Case on it, because I also haven't really gotten an opportunity to experiment with Ard Case. It doesn't really do too much for survivability, but I think I'd rather have Ard Case in this match than I don't know, maybe any of the other enhancements available at this point. It's gonna like, this is another like, you can nitpick this list on small details like that, but I just wanted to try it. The Ard Case and the banner knob are just like two kind of like meme picks for flexibility. You don't necessarily have to follow this list to the T to be able to succeed with it. Snickrot, goated Action Monkey. It also, having the like just sheer access to infiltrate forces your opponent sometimes to like take the first deploy. Even though Snickrot, like 9 times out of 10, sometimes you just don't even take him out of the DZ. He doesn't necessarily need to infiltrate. The Pain Boy on the knobs with Gaz is so difficult to remove that unit. I feel like it, and then you revive. Oh my god, it's so potent. Mr. Beast. So Mr. Beast kill rig. Here's the play with the kill rig. The kill rig is excellent. One, as like an excellent, oh my god, what is that thing? I need to get rid of it. And also the shooting profile is like pretty decent. Same with the melee. It allows you to also, whenever I run Mr. Beast in a truck, he dies like instantly. And that's just because, one, it's kind of like difficult to position that third truck mid-board. So there's that, but then also it gives me a larger footprint, so maybe like emergency disembark off the back, so Mr. Beast is like stays alive more often. Either way, he's pretty, like, he's insane. I think he's one of the best units in our book. Grot's self-explanatory. Flash kits are also one of our best units because they don't necessarily require character support to work. I wanted to try them with the banner knob for fallback shooting charge. It didn't come up at any point because they just got dumpstered in that one match against Grey Knights, and they stayed alive the other two games. But I like that. The banner knob OC4 also helps a lot. The 5-up bomb helps a lot. Storm Boys are like insane. So this is you don't necessarily need action monkeys. You need early skirmishers. And when I seen for take and hold, I mean specifically, there's only a couple. I think it's like plunder and one other card maybe, and your primary sometimes for actions. So you don't necessarily need dedicated action monkeys. You'll have Snickrot, who's just amazing. He does everything. But what Storm Boys excel at is they can clear screens. They can also be an early game threat piece for your opponent. They're good late game. They're good for screening yourself, screening out your own backline. They're cheap. They advance in charge. They have the grenades keyword. You can crit 5 them with the Power Claw. It's great. They're insane. Dev Comptas, so here's the thing with Dev Comptas. They're not particularly great. Most of the time they're hitting on 6s. They're not necessarily killing any vehicle. However, this, they can be used to rapid. They can be used for screening. There also can be a potential action monkey if you need it to be. Another thing too, they're like the shooting. It can punch up sometimes, and the threat of it can force your opponent to say Overwatch it with a Defiler, because damage 3 twin length sounds rough. Also, trucks, absolutely insane. I had a really good experience at this event. I'm definitely I'm gonna be moving away from this area, so I won't be able to do another event through the store, but for a little bit. But I'm excited to go back. I like all the people there. Met some great people. I'm probably going to run this at a couple future events I'm going to. I might make change. I'm just going to have to really mess around with the specifics of who gets the fallback action charge, who gets the field, the art. Does the art case really do anything for me? Stuff like that. But yeah, that is all. I will see you sometime around.